Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another Gundam review. Today we're taking a look at something new, different, and exciting. This is the Bandai Tamashii Nations Gundam Universe GU-01 RX-78-2 Gundam. This is the new Gundam action figure line that's sort of a spiritual successor to the old Mobile Suit in Action, also known as MSIA line, from the early 2000s. That line was not only popular in Japan, but came to be incredibly popular in North America, as model kit building is not a very common hobby over in the West. Now, why is this line happening? Well, for one, Gundam's expansion into North America has exploded this year with the 40th anniversary. There's more stuff than ever coming out. We've got new series, new OVAs, new movies, everything, new video games, and it all seems to be coming over. It started kind of big with the Gundam narrative film being released over here, and now we're getting G-Reco movies and Hathaway's Flash, and mobile games are coming over and getting translated, and battle operation is happening here, and we're getting more merchandise than ever. Gundam is exploding for its 40th anniversary and expanding heavily into the West. So as part of that, Tamashii Nations decided to introduce a lower price point of Gundam pre-built action figures for the North American market. What do I mean by lower price? Well, for those of you that know, the Robot Spirits line is a 5-inch scale of action figures based on Mobile Suits and other mecha anime, specifically Gundam. They are around $50 to $60, and they come with a ton of accessories to make that price worth it. But for a lot of people, they just want a Gundam that has, beam rifle, shield, a couple beam sabers, and maybe a couple hands. And maybe they want it at a larger size. North America definitely prefers a 6-inch size to its action figures as opposed to the Japanese style 5-inch. So what do we have here? Gundam Marvel Legends. Not exactly that, but that's essentially what we're going with. First up, if you notice the boxes here, they're not standard Tamashii Nations boxes where they're all enclosed. They have a flap, so they can be hung on a peg. Very clear distinction in English, RX-78-2 Gundam. It has a very, very nice clear character art, plus the Tamashii Nations seal of quality. And the RX-78-2 is listed above. On the side, we got a shot of the figure itself. On the side, we got the name and a little bit of a window. And on the back, you have very clear artwork of what this figure does, how it's posable, how it looks really cool in space battles, as well as a description of the Gundam franchise. Beginning in 1979, the universe of Gundam spans over 4 decades, with many diverse tales of war in space and on Earth, fought with giant robotic weapons called mobile suits. Gundam Universe commemorates this history with the 6-inch scale articulated action figures. Very nice, clear, distinctive English. Somebody that knows the English language well wrote this, which is nice because we've gotten English on Gunpla packaging recently, but it's always kind of unreadable. Same thing for the bio here. RX-78-2 Gundam, the first Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam 1979. The RX-78-2 was piloted by Amuro Ray and was equipped with an armament such as its Tomb B sabers and a beam rifle. You also see available GU-02 Wing Gundam and GU-03 Unicorn Gundam. A lot of the legal stuff is in Japanese, as it has added this Bluefin sticker. Bluefin, of course, is now owned by Bandai Namco directly, which is probably why things come out, as well as a Gundam info QR code to find out more about Gundam. Also, let's talk about price. I picked this up at GameStop, conveniently during their buy one get one 50% off action figure sale, $26.99. Typical retail price is suggested at $24.99. There's the bottom of the box. But GameStop has upcharged a couple dollars. They do this with a lot of their figures, I think because the way their system is, or however they order stuff. Their Marvel Legends are normally $19.99, they're $22.99 at GameStop. So, getting these for $26.99, not too shabby. Now, of course, the question comes down to scale, and I want to talk about scale first and foremost because that is going to be something that people are going to talk about. Well, how does it scale with the old MSIA line? Well, here is the RX-78 from the MSIAs. These are more of a 4-inch scale, these are more of a 6-inch. This is like trying to mix your Marvel Universe with your Marvel Legends. You can do that for really large stuff, maybe, not so much the normal size stuff. But also, the other big question, how about high grades? High grade Universal Century Revive, RX-78, also short. Master grades, I do not have a proper comparison for. I have a couple action figures that are roughly the 1 to 100 scale, but I don't have an actual master grade to compare. I'm not going to be doing that in this video. But as you can see, they are about 6 inches. For master grades, I think are about 7 to 8. And these are around, 5.5 for most Gunpla. So this kind of gives you your scale of size between 3 different versions of the RX-78, and hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea of style. You can also notice that the styling is different in addition to the scale. as this has kind of lankier proportions. This is a lot more stockier. This is kind of in the middle, so you get a different look. Also, just for action figure collectors in general, here is a Marvel Legends Spider-Man. This is a typical Marvel Legends size. As you can see, he is right in the same range with the Gundam. So basically, you have that going on. Moving forward to talk about the actual figure, let's look at this thing, because this thing is gorgeous. And I first got to say that I love the styling of it because it has the iconicism of the original RX-78 without having the simplicity of it. They added a lot of details, like especially love the shoulders. They kind of remind me of the Unicorn's Unicorn mode, but like the extra detail there really brings out the sculpt and it really makes it look cool. I love, that's just the depth. As you can see, like there is, raised parts, lowered parts. The overall details. I love how these shield pegs in his arms kind of look like they're part of the design. Just the extra panel lines. There is panel lines. If you wanted to go ahead and panel line these figures, by all means, go ahead. There is definitely panel lines that can be done. I know a lot of Robot Tamashii stuff, and even old MSAs would do panel lines on their own, but this kind of gives you the option, which I really like. But yeah, very nice paint details. Very nice. This is a, lower end figure for Gundam compared to the robot spirits, but I don't feel like you lose that much in detail, as they are very, very detailed. Nothing I think is missing paint, which is wonderful. That was my biggest concern with the line going in. The other big thing with this figure, of course, is the articulation. How does it feel? How does it move? Well, that's the part that I think still needs a little bit of work. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, the head is great. It can look, up and down, side to side. It also has, left and right rotation. Careful of the V-fins. They are a hard plastic, but I feel like they're not super breakable, but I'm preferring this to a soft plastic that can mold. These are adult collector figures. They're not necessarily made for children. Like the MSAs, I think, are very kid-friendly. These, not so much. So be careful of these. But other than that, this is like the only part that could be fragile. But he does have an additional neck joint at the base, so it does have some additional movement. You're not going to get super crazy upward neck movement, but you still get enough that would work realistically for the RX-78. The shoulders move out. They move 360 degrees around. Very nice tight joint. They also have a little bit of an in and out. It's not like a butterfly shoulder, but they can be adjusted back and forth as they are on a ball joint system, which is pretty cool. The shoulder pad also is its own piece, so that gets out of the way. You have a nice bicep rotation, and then you get the elbow. The elbow is the biggest, I think, hindrance of this figure, and it's the same goes for the unicorns. I do have the unicorn, which I'll be reviewing later. It doesn't even get to 90 degrees, even though it's a double joint, and I think that if the sculpt was a little bit cut out here and here on the sides to give it more of a bend, that would be really nice. So hopefully Wave 2 and beyond might work on improving that. But then you have a ball joint wrist, which is pretty nice. Torso, it's got left and right, and it's got back and forth. Very nice. It gives you a bit of an ab crunch. It gives you some articulation without going too insane to look unrealistic. Hips move out. They move forward with these skirt armors moving out of the way. They move back, but this skirt armor is locked. Thigh swivel, double joint knee, but again, needs a little bit more cutting because that's a double joint, but yet that doesn't go that far. And then also you've got forward, back, left, and right on a ball joint as well. Plus this piece is connected with a ball joint at the ankle, so it's loose on this side, so you get kind of, you don't have the armor getting in the way of the posability. So very nice. And like I said, these figures feel substantial. So it's like, while I wouldn't throw him head first at a wall, I'm sure if you dropped him off a shelf, he'd probably be fine. Like if you just, this thing's not going to take any damage. It's sturdy, it's built to last, and that's kind of the marketing of the line. It's based off of multiple plastic types. He's also really heavy. He's not heavy, but hefty. Definitely a hefty figure. And I think that it's really nice to see something like this come from Bandai, since a lot of their stuff ends up being kind of finicky. To assist with posing, we have a stand clip. This works with Tamashii stages, which, are pretty cool. I like how it's farther back. On a lot of Gunpla, like right in the middle of the crotch, and it always looks a little weird. But if you have a little stand clip back there, and you have your own Tamashii stage, they don't include them. So we'll bring in a standard, I think this is an Act 3 or something like that. You probably also could use Gunpla action bases. But you plug that in there, and then you got kind of like a nice way to pose your Gundam without having to, worry about stand clips, and that's a terrible angle, I'm sorry. So you get kind of that floating nature. So if you wanted to have a space battle RX-78, that's where the leg articulation can really shine, and a lot of the other stuff is you can kind of have him flying through space. Pretty good. The clip holds really well, I think, which is really nice. And the figures aren't too heavy. Like this does, like a lot of SH figure arts I find will cause stands to just wilt, but this one seems to hold pretty well overall. So I'm really happy with that, and I like that modularity with other Tamashii products. I like clips. I don't like to have to put the little waist clip things like these. These suck, and this would never really hold this figure up because it's too heavy and just fall out. So there's that. But yeah, let's get to the actual reason for the articulation and everything, is the accessories. What is a mobile suit without its weaponry, right? So let's take a look at that. So he actually comes with quite a few different things. So first up, we've already talked about the stand clip. He's got 2 extra hands. These are holding hands, with the right hand having a trigger finger, of course with the beam rifle, and the left hand just being able to hold stuff. These hold the beam sabers here. It does not hold it, I think, as well in the right hand, but it does hold it because it does not slip through. That is very important, that is essential to this. But you can see that if you have this hand, it's going to hold the beam saber a lot tighter. And that's just the way the hands are designed. This is, to keep it simple, keep the cost down, etc. Of course, the beam saber handles are possible to fit into the backpack. I think if they weren't, that would have stuck. I always like these little, I like the little antenna pieces on the end of the beam saber handles. That's kind of a cool feature. So you got that going on, which I think looks nice. We're gonna pose him with this, but the beam sabers themselves are white plastic painted pink, which I think is a neat look. Kind of gives it more of an anime style, as opposed to the clear plastic we get with a lot of Gunpla. You notice the beams are very long. They're universal beam sabers, so if you happen to break one or lose one, you could swap it out with another figures if you have other figures. You can see there, and here's the thing, the articulation, like I said, could use more movement, but I feel like you can still get like that crossbody kind of beam saber look that we associate with a lot of mobile suits. So I think it's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, we're just gonna, I tend to hold both sides and twist in opposite directions to remove them. They're very tight, I don't want to just pull. That's how I broke Star Wars lightsabers in the past from the Black Series. Now, of course, the holding hand on this side also works with the shield. Shield has that same design aesthetic of just kind of plussing the anime design, which I really like. A lot of great detail on the inside, and a really cool ball joint connection. So the handle's actually its own piece, and you just pop it on here, and this allows it to move all over the place. But the peg here allows you to peg it into the backpack of the mobile suit, and you get kind of that look. As you see on my MSIA Gundam, I have him kind of posed with that. That's how I keep the shield around, because I like him having the beam saber and the rifle, so you can kind of have that. That way he always has his shield. But also, you can rotate the handle around. It slides into, it's kind of interesting because you can kind of just push it in this way and then fold it up and then peg it into the arm, and now he's got a shield. And this is where I think the elbow articulation would really help, is with the shield part, just to give it some more range. But of course, we can swap out the other hand here and then take a look at the beam rifle. Beam rifle is very well done. Similar design aesthetic overall, very nice detailed. The packaging art ironically shows the side handle being used, but the side handle is actually fused. But this little scope can be tilted inward. It doesn't go the other way because it shouldn't, but you can tilt it inward if you want him to aim better. I like the aiming kind of function, but I tend to prefer the beam rifle to be that direction. So in order to do that, we're going to slip it into the hand, and I love how the hand doesn't have to move that much. It just kind of slips on, and the trigger finger's in place. So very nice. I get him in some really cool, like, iconic Gundam poses, like that. And overall, really fantastic figure. And I love how there's very few parts left behind. If I was using a beam saber, even less, because the backpack has that shield connection. But overall, I think, for a starting line into Gundam Universe, there is some stuff to improve on. I think the knee joints and elbow joints need some range of movement, but overall, I feel like it's a very sturdy figure, it's a very solid figure, it's a very fun figure. And the thing is, as much as I love Gunpla, and I do love Gunpla, over time, even as amazing as the high-grade Universal Century Revive Gundam is, it's still like gonna require like, you know, TLC to keep him up. Like he's holding for now, but he's also like 4 years old at this point, and joints aren't always gonna hold forever. Not to mention I have a lot of hands popping apart on some of my Gunpla. Look how loose this wrist joint is. And there's always like a chance, because they are model kits and not action figures, that they will break one day. So to see something like Gundam Universe where it says, hey, we're not going to be fragile, we're going to be something you can just get your hands on and play with, it's really nice. I really like it. So overall, I'm very excited to see the rest of this line. Like I said, I have a review of the Unicorn coming up, as I did get that one at GameStop. They did not have the wing yet, so I'm hoping they get it soon. I would like to get pretty much everything from this line. So far, so for the lineup, you know, I want to get all the 3 from Wave 1, the Death Scythe, the Banshee, and the Barbatos from Wave 2, definitely. Wave 3, I think, has got Sandrock, Easy 8, and the Ale Strike. Not sure about Ale Strike yet, haven't watched Seed, but I'd probably end up picking that one up. I really do like this line. I'm hoping it doesn't get too crazy with exclusives. Like, I think Comic-Con exclusives would be cool. Stuff like that, maybe just like, oh hey, here's the Gundam but in metallic paint. But nothing like, oh look, the, you know, Wing Zero is exclusive to Premium Bandai and we're not bringing it over. I think those days are kind of behind us in a lot of ways, but I also feel like Gunpla is going to always have the Premium Bandai, but I think Gundam Universe, to make it more accessible, is not. So very, very excited for this line, and I hope it does well. So if you like this review, please leave a like and leave a comment below telling me what figure you want to see in Gundam Universe, what mobile suit hasn't been announced yet that you want to see them make. So far it's just been Gundams, but you never know if they might expand. Also be sure to hit the subscribe button to keep in the loop of upcoming videos, and you can check out social media links at the end of the video for ways to follow me on social media. Check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for all of your Gundam news and more, and check out our title card designer, Ryan Darklaw643, on Twitter at Darklaw643 for art commissions. Till next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.